Hey guys, Rominating Reaper here. So, it's the end of June. I'm outside the cinema, about to head in to see one of my most anticipated films of the year, F1. Yep, got the Joseph Kosinski merch there. Yeah, this looks amazing. Yeah, very much hoping it'll deliver the exact same kind of thrilling vehicle spectacle that made Top Gun Maverick such a joy to watch. Especially with them, filming it all in actual like F1 races. So I've got my fingers crossed this will be a real good time. But there's only one way to find out. Head in, get some snacks, and get seated for F1. So I've got my popcorn here and a Sprite, ready to watch Brad Pitt driving Formula One cars. So, F1, or as the marketing's been calling it, F1 the movie. I am back from seeing it. This is of course directed by Joseph Kosinski, the man responsible for the summer blockbuster of 2022, Top Gun Maverick. And so obviously, yes, with this being his big screen follow-up to that, he of course turns to the kind of vehicular spectacle that made Top Gun such a crowd-pleasing summer hit, only this time on the ground with Formula One cars. And so obviously, yes, coming off the back of Maverick, I was fucking hyped for what Kosinski had up his sleeve next. But does the film live up to the crowd-pleasing vehicular thrills of Maverick? Let's find out. So the film follows Sonny Hayes, a once promising Formula One driver whose career was cut short after a tragic accident on the track. 30 years later, he's now living in his van, working various one-off jobs for different racing teams, securing them wins, and then moving on to his next job. Then one day he's approached by Ruben, an old friend from his racing days, who now owns a Formula One team, Apex GP. The team is in a bit of a slump, with not a single win in the current season, and the looming threat of the team being sold off altogether. And so, to prevent this from happening, Sonny is brought on to mentor the team's promising young talent, Joshua Pierce, and hopefully secure them some wins and points to keep them fighting another day. So, obviously the success of Top Gun Maverick is a difficult thing to replicate, a proper lightning in a bottle cultural event. So, I have nothing but respect for Kosinski for the fact that, he went back and tried to capture those same thrills a second time. Obviously without the safety net of Tom Cruise. I'm happy to report he has delivered the goods again. Obviously this isn't quite as good as Maverick, but it is such a satisfying, crowd-pleasing experience that you've got to see on the biggest screen possible. So obviously, story-wise, it's pretty familiar sports movie stuff. There's very much the obvious, underdog story as driving the thing along, pun unintended, of course, as well as a sort of passing of the torch type thing. Very much familiar sports movie story beats, but it's executed with such a level of sincerity. It is such a big, earnest summer crowd pleaser that I was more than willing to overlook these cliches and just go along with the ride. And boy, is it a ride, because the thing you're here for, the racing scenes, Kosinski has unrivaled levels of sauce here. Obviously, much has been made of the fact that they, filmed this at actual F1 races. They have full access, and it really shows. Not just in the fact you can get cameos from actual drivers to make this thing feel real and immersive and lived in. Lewis Hamilton is a notable one. He is also a producer. But man, they very much, Kosinski really pulls out that Maverick bag of tricks, mounting IMAX cameras all over these cars and, getting up close, really feeling all of those G's. And of course, there's these fast sweeping shots of the track that just really sell the sheer speed of these majestic vehicles. It is a visual experience to behold. And the sound design on this thing is an absolute beast, really selling that immersion and impact, every single roaring engine, the hard hitting impact of trackside disaster. It ensures that it hits and just delivers a proper pulse racing experience. Of course, the sort of cherry on top of all of this is the score from Hans Zimmer, which, is reliably fantastic, as you'd expect from Zimmer. It sort of implements some kind of Challenger's synth, and it really does do its job in making everything feel so much like more heightened and more cinematic. Yeah, this thing is just an absolute experience that you're not going to get anywhere else but the big screen. And I mean, it helps that the stuff off the track is strong as well. We've got a big ensemble here, really helping us build investment in these, very likable set of characters. Obviously, Brad Pitt as Sonny, yeah, he is immensely likable, just, utilizing every ounce of that, sheer charisma and movie star charm. But also he has a sort of deeper anger burning within him that really drives him to succeed. Yeah, he is great. And he plays really well off Damson Idris as Joshua, who's this, real, cocky, hot-headed, very much in it for the glitz and glamour of fame. And so, very much, it's a really fun dynamic just seeing these two immovable objects collide. And it helps that Joshua is a very interesting character on his own, too. I very much enjoyed the stuff of his relationship with his mother, Bernadette, played by Sarah Niles. There's also some kind of fun moments with his manager, Cash, played by Samson Kayo. On the other side of things, we also have Javier Bardem, the #1 hype man to the Lisan Al Gaib, playing Ruben, very much the owner of the team, and he does a great job selling the deep-set frustration of a man who not only has the sort of, board members breathing down his neck at every turn, but also does a great job selling just the frustration and exasperation at his old friends, just, unorthodox, unpredictable madness. And we also have Carrie Condon as Kate, the team's technical director. She does a really great job, selling this woman who's, driven and determined to prove all her doubters wrong. She also gets a bit of a romantic subplot with Sonny, and, to their credit, Pitt and Condon have, really likable, easy chemistry, although, much like in Top Gun Maverick, this subplot does feel a little bit more half-baked compared to everything else, but this is a small thing, in what is a very, very, likable and engaging ensemble all around. And of course, it's thanks to all this good work, it really sells these great moments of triumph, some unexpected moments of comedy, some hard-hitting, moments of tragedy. It ensures that, the thing moves forward with such, energy and momentum that 2.5 hour runtime just zips by, where it should feel bloated and lumbering, it feels really nimble and agile, and it is, breathlessly engaging stuff all the way through to the exhilarating high of the film's climax at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Oh my god, man. My pulse was racing, again, pun unintended, and my palms were sweating, man. It is, incredibly thrilling stuff, the stakes higher than ever. Yeah, thing is, you're paying for a whole seat, but you'll only need the edge because it is genuinely that, exciting to watch. And of course, it just leaves such a big smile. I had a huge smile on my face coming out of it. It is such a fist pumping, triumphant, feel good experience. Yeah, please go see this on the big screen. It is more than made for it. Overall, F1 delivers an old school, crowd pleasing summer blockbuster packed with thrilling racing scenes and oodles of movie star charisma from Brad Pitt. Yeah, Joseph Kosinski more than solidifies his position as a blockbuster director to watch. Out of 10, Formula One gets an 8.5. So let me know down in the comments, have you seen F1? What did you think of it? What did you make of it in comparison to Top Gun Maverick? And are there any F1 fans who went to see this? I'd definitely love to hear that perspective. And are you looking forward to what Kosinski has in store next? Let me know all that down in the comments. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're new. And don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss an upload.